Welcome to the Montana Rodmakers Guild. I'm Rick Plant. Today I want to go over how easy it is to set up the bamboo hand plane on your workbench. To mount your bamboo hand plane, you need very few things. Obviously you need a drill bit to match the size of bolt you're going to use, or lag screw. A level is very helpful, a wrench to tighten your bolts, and a tape measure. That's really all you need. We do not supply the hardware for your bench because we don't know what type of surface you're going to be connecting it to. We do supply the hardware that connects the base to the angled bracket. That comes with your kit. It'll come in the crate. Once you get your bamboo hand plane, right, first thing I want you to think about is your workspace. Here at the shop where we run our classes, everyone has their own 8-foot bench. I recommend that you have at least 18 to 24 inches on each side of your hand plane. That allows for ease of use. When you're planing, you're not going to run into anything. So these particular benches that we have here at the shop are 8 feet long. The first thing I'm going to do, like I said, I want to have 18 to 24 inches. So I just measure from the end of my bench to where the first hole is, and I can see that's 21 inches. That's perfect. Next thing I want to do, there's 5 mounting holes on your angled bracket here. I'm going to find the center one, and that's where I'm going to drill my first hole on my workbench. So if I go from where the end is and I mark on my bench, I can simply put a mark where I'm going to drill my first hole. I recommend that when you drill your hole that you're anywhere from 1.25 inches to 1.75 inches from the top surface of your workbench. The reason for that is when it's all mounted, we want the hand plane to be just proud of the surface of your bench. So the first thing I'm going to do, I've got my mark. I'm going to measure down. I'm going to measure down on this particular one, 1.25 inches, put a mark. You can see here on the angled bracket, the hole is slotted. So it doesn't have to be perfect. I have some range of motion if I need it. First hole I'm going to drill. Simply drill through my workbench. We don't supply the hardware because we never know what anyone's workbench looks like, if they're going to need a bolt or if they're going to need a lag screw. But whatever hardware you need to fit your surface, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hardware, I'm going to put it through my angled bracket and into my workbench. Take a washer, nut, and I'm just going to screw that on. At this point, and this is important, right, I just want it finger tight. I'm not going to tighten everything. That's going to be the last thing I do. So right now it's finger tight. Next thing, I'm going to put a level on it. The hand plane doesn't have to be perfectly level. It will still work just fine. There it's level. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to mark the remaining 4 holes. Now I can take my drill, measure down 1.25 inches, drill those holes. Once I have those drilled, I'm going to go in and put in the rest of my hardware. Okay, so I've drilled all my holes. I've put the hardware in, and it is not tight. You can see it's still loose. At this point, everything is just finger tight. And this is important. At this stage, I don't want to tighten them. If I were to tighten them all the way, and the face of my bench is not flat, I could actually bend the angled aluminum here. And I don't want to do that. So they're finger tight at this stage. Next, what I want to do, this is going to make your life easier once you put it down. I want to mark right on my angled bracket where the mounting holes for the base are going to be. So all I'm doing, looking where the holes are going to be, marking them on my angled bracket here. There's actually 7 of them, and when I tip this down, it's going to make it really easy for me to find. So I've marked them. Now all I have to do is take the base, lay it on the angled bracket. Now I can attach the base to the bracket. And again, because I put a mark here, makes it really easy for me to find the holes. And again, I'm not tightening anything yet. I'm just getting everything in. And once I have them all set, then I will go back and I will tighten them all up. Now I have the base attached to my angled bracket. I'm going to go back and tighten them all. All right, I'm just going to tighten up these last 2. Perfect. Now my base is secured to my angled bracket. At this point, I can go and I can tighten my bolts that are attaching the angled bracket to the bench. If for some reason the face of your bench is not flat, you may have to insert a shim I'm very lucky. This bench is really flat. This shim doesn't go in at all anywhere. But at this point now, again, like I said before, last thing you're going to do is tighten the bolts that attach the angle bracket to your bench. You can see here I have good clearance for when I start my planing. Obviously at the end of the bench, I don't have anything interfering. So it's really simple. One more thing you can see, my base is slightly proud of my workbench. That's what you want. You don't want your base to sit below the surface of your workbench. If you have any questions or thoughts, feel free to give me a call here at Montana Rodmakers Guild.